Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Darren here from Highlight Hoops, making youth basketball simple. Happy New Year!
Hold up.
This year is going to be big. We're going to have a lot of fun. Just be posted for that. But today, to start the new year off well, I wanted to give you guys some tips on how to be memorable as a coach. Because anybody can coach, but of course, you want to separate yourselves from the rest. Or more importantly, you want to make sure you leave a lasting impact on the kids. You don't want the kids that you're coaching after the season's over just completely forget about you. So today we have 4 tips on how to become a memorable coach. So tip number 1 is be authentic. Coaches, trust me, kids have a natural BS meter. They can tell if you're being fake, if you're being phony, or if you're being real. So if you were some star athlete growing up and you were the quote unquote cool kid, be that. If you never even touched a basketball or whatever other sport that you're coaching, if you've never even played that sport, do not lie about it. The more you lie, the more you become less memorable. Or in actuality, I should say you become rememberable for the wrong reasons, or basically infamous. Because you want people to remember you in a positive light and not in a negative way, or in like a more of a funny type of way. So whoever you are, if you're calm, if you're fiery, if you're methodical, if you're steady, just be that. And don't even think twice about it. Don't think that because you see other coaches losing their mind, throwing chairs, screaming at players that you have to do that. No, that's completely not true. If you just naturally be yourself, you're gonna find your own tribe. You're gonna find kids that naturally gravitate towards you, because not every kid wants to be around some type of fiery hot head coach. Tip number 2, don't be Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Nice Girl. Now, I know you must be wondering, like, what are you talking about? In step number 1, you told me just to be my authentic self. So if I'm naturally nice, shouldn't I just be that? Well, to keep it short, the answer is no. You don't always want to be nice if that's your natural personality. Being a coach, you do have to have some edge. If you don't have some edge, if you don't have a quote unquote mean streak, then practices and games is gonna look chaotic. The kids are gonna be out of control and wild. Behavioral issues will come up, and that's the last thing you want. So you cannot be too nice, and believe it or not, kids actually respect that. So what does that look like, especially if that's not your natural personality? From time to time, you should just blow up. If you set a standard for your team and your team is not hitting that standard, just get really mad and make people run, or just tell them off, just yell at them. Not only will kids start to wake up and meet your standard, but believe it or not, right after you explode on them and you yell at them, you make them run, maybe some push-ups, kids will actually start smiling and they'll start joking around with you more, and they'll start liking you. Because at the end of the day, even if they moan and groan and pretend like they don't actually like discipline, kids crave it. So if you could give it to them, that's perfect. Another way to not be Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Nice Girl is to just simply be bluntly honest. If a kid asks you a question, don't beat around the bush to try to save their feelings. Nobody respects that. So if a kid asks you, hey coach, how did I play today? Don't be afraid to say, honestly, you played terrible. And then explain to them why they played terrible, but also don't be a jerk about it. Show them ways that they can improve, and then try to leave them off with something positive. I have this vivid memory when I was back in high school. I tried to run track for one season. For those who don't know, I was actually pretty good at basketball. Obviously, I would hope I was good at basketball if I made this channel, and I was also good at volleyball. But anyways, I tried to run track. And when I ran track, I had this particular coach, he was like, a no nonsense type of guy. So when track practice came, it was about 4 p.m. He was like, all right, guys, hey, we're going to start warming up. Everybody get on the line. We're going to do some high knees, butt kicks, all that jazz. I said, hey, coach, listen, I don't need to warm up, because at that time I was waking up before school and stretching to make sure I was good for any sport that I did. So I told him, I said, hey, coach, I don't need to stretch. I don't need to warm up. I stretch in the morning around 6 a.m. And let me tell you something. He just looked at me with a very confused face, and he didn't say anything for, it felt like hours, but in actuality, he didn't say anything for like 10 seconds. He was just looking at me and he just simply said, Davey, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. get on the line, warm up. And when I heard that, it shocked me because he was one of my PE teachers. And you know, when you're in school, the teachers talk to you nicely, but now he was in coach mode. And that message, it like shook me back into reality. Like, you know what? He's actually right. What I said is really stupid. And especially now, looking back on it, especially, you know, being a coach and everything, what I said was idiotic. If I have a player today that tells me, oh no, coach, I don't want to warm up because 12 hours ago I already warmed up, what? That makes no sense. So to this day, I still appreciate my former track coach because he kept it real. It was his natural feelings. He was blunt and honest, and it's a hilarious story that I love to tell people. See, something like that made him memorable. If he told me something like, oh, Davey, I'm really happy that you warmed up this morning. Hey, good job. I wouldn't remember him. But now, for the rest of my life, he's the coach that called me an idiot. And it was true. So tip number 3, be consistent. However you approach your seasons, up and coming or during the season now, just follow the same type of thought process, the same type of decision making. Of course, I'm not trying to pigeonhole you or box you into something that's clearly not working. If something's not working, change it. But from your normal day-to-day, whatever your personality's like, just try to set that in stone. Make it so that whatever you do is consistent and follows a logical train of thought. And last but not least, tip number 4, create moments, and not only create them, but lean into moments as well, because that's gonna have an everlasting impact on the kids. It could be something as simple as, you know, a kid is upset with playing time, and then next practice, you bring that kid over and you give them a life lesson and how this relates to life. It could be something as simple as your team is not going hard and they're about to have like a school tryout soon, and you really drill into their mind, whether it's yelling or you have a nice firm conversation about how this effort will not cut it. Not only it will not cut it here, it will not cut it in school or whatever team they're going to be trying out for. Or it could be something funny. Imagine you're in practice, you're running a drill, and your team shoots 10 straight shots and it goes off the right side of the backboard. Now, you as a coach, you can laugh. I mean, that is funny, and the team is gonna laugh, and then we can move on to the next drill. But going back to tip number 1, if you just kind of like explode and you get angry and you talk about how this is just unacceptable, that's what kids really remember. You say, are you kidding me? No, everybody get on the line. What is going on here? Are you like... Just going off on a rant like that, all of my former athletes can definitely remember times where your coach is just going off and you're just in the back like rolling your eyes like, oh my gosh. But those moments matter. Those moments matter because it shows that you have a little bit of edge. It shows that you're a little bit crazy, but in the good way. And oh my gosh, when kids go home or when they go back to their friends in school, they're gonna be talking about, oh my gosh, my coach was going crazy. We missed 10 layups and then we were running the whole practice. Or they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, no, I'm a little bit scared of my coach. And then all their friends are gonna be invested and they're gonna be curious about you. And it just creates this like whole mystique about you. And that's what kids really like. All right, so let's recap. Here are your New Year's goals. Number 1, be authentic. Kids have a natural BS meter, so don't even try to act like somebody you're not. Number 2, don't be Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Nice Girl. You need to have some edge to you. That's what separates you from all the other coaches. Number 3, be consistent. Don't start one way, then jump to something else, then go here, then this, then that. Everything you do should have some type of logical pattern to it. And last but not least, number 4, create moments and lean into moments. Be the coach that when something funny or if a big situation happens, you don't let it slide and you capitalize on those opportunities to teach your team something or just make them have a good laugh. All right, guys, that's all I got. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and head to the description box below. You can check out our website if you need some coaching tips or coaching help. All of my information is down there, and help for your coaching season is literally just a click of a button away. Man, it is good to be back. Coach Darren out. Peace.